It really does look like a finger, that one. Holy shit. G'day guys, welcome back to the kitchen. I'm a bit excited about today because I've wanted something nice and fresh and punchy and packed full of flavour for the last couple of days, and I feel like this dish is going to do it. We're going to be doing some lemongrass lamb chops with some charred green beans, a little bit of rice, about a whole heap of flavour. We're going to cook along together. It's going to be pretty straightforward. I've got the world's biggest and heaviest mortar and pestle. I can still never figure out which bit is the mortar and which bit is the pestle, but we'll get through it. I don't need this right away, but I will need it shortly. What we're going to do first is make up the marinade and get the marinade ingredients all together, because that's going to rub all over our lamb cutlets. And we're also going to add it to our green beans a little bit as well. But first things first, I'm doing this inside. So I've got my cast iron griddle, which basically acts as an inside barbecue. But if you're at home, you've got the barbie, you've got the grill, you can fire it up, do it outside. It's going to make it a little bit easier for yourself, I think. But this works just as well. If you've only got this, then that's perfect. Nice charry bar marks. Keys to get it on early. Bring it up to heat nice and slowly. Cast iron doesn't like to be shocked. Plus, it'll enable those beautiful lamb choppies to cook nice and evenly, and it's not going to drop the temperature of the pan too much. So first things first, I got to this is a very large eschalot, brown shallot. So I'm just going to start there with that. And again, like I said, this is the base of our, what I would call a very chunky marinade for our lamb. So everything's going to end up in the mortar and pestle, and we're going to go bash that thing really, really hard until it sort of gets into like a curry paste looking setup. Too good. So because we have the power of the stone, we don't really need to go crazy with the chopping. So I'm just cutting it up into little bits. I'm going to do some garlic. Here's one that's open already. A couple of cloves of garlic in there. Thank you very much. Easiest way to do it, I think, flat of the knife. Just give it a little bash. Give it a little bash. And it should just pop the skin right off. I didn't bash that one very hard, so it's a bit of a tricky one, but we'll get there. And lamb, how good is lamb? I know a lot of people can sometimes be a little bit funny about lamb, particularly those people that don't live in Australia and New Zealand. I know my missus, she's American. When she first came here, hated lamb. I think that's because the lamb in America is shit, to be honest. We got the best lamb in the world right here. So yeah, if you are worried about lamb, get on over to Australia, have some of our Aussie lamb, get amongst it. It's not shit. It's good. Really, really good. And our farmers are the best in the world. We all know that already. Okay, garlic, shallot. I only go one big ass chili. Big guy. And then I only go a couple of the little guys, just for a bit more heat, I think. Because I want a bit of punch. Like I said, I've been feeling this sort of freshness, this need for a bit of spice. I'm missing a trip to Bali that I did. Well, it was quite a while ago now, but it's funny, when you go to Indo, the food is just insane. It's so, so good, packed full of flavour, and it's just tasty as. Got a bit of ginger here. Let me get a spoon. Just get the skin off with a spoon. Just run it down there like that. You don't need to do this, but peeling the ginger obviously prevents all that woodiness in your marinades. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. It really does look like a finger, that one. Holy shit. Anyway, we'll get rid of that. I'm going to get a fair bit of ginger on there, so I'll do the other side as well. I love ginger. It's very expensive though, the old ginger. I feel like this dish as well, for me, I'm sure there's a few Sydney siders out there and people that have been dealing with constant rain. Food like this, when it's a bit wet, it just brings a little bit of vibe into the home. A little bit of summer. A little bit of flavour, a little bit of heat, a little bit of passion in the kitchen. Okay, ginger is good. Let's get rid of this skin bits. Okay, knife. Into the mortar and pestle. What else have we got? Ginger, garlic, the number one ingredient. Lemongrass. Now, don't use your favourite best knives when you're cutting lemongrass because they are a real tough little fella. So it can blunt your knife very, very quickly. So just be mindful of that. I'm going to do some quite thick discs. And then that'll go in the mortar and pestle as well. Save those, plant them later, get the plant going. They're so fibrous and so coarse, so hard on the knives. Okay, that goes in. Lemongrass, we're heavy on the lemongrass, we're heavy on the garlic, we're heavy on the chili. We're gonna get in there with turmeric. Not a good thing if you're wearing a white shirt like I am. Not a good thing if you don't have a small enough spoon. Here we go. No. Good time lucky. Yeah. This adds obviously a great flavour, a beautiful colour that's going to work really nicely with our lamb, but be careful, she'll get you. I'm going to put it in the sink. What else do we always have in any marinade? Some salt. Good pinch of salt. Any sort of protein loves a good bit of salt. The salt also helps with the coarseness when we're using the mortar and pestle. It helps break things down. And I'm also going to go with a little oil in there. Whatever's left. Don't need too much. Yeah, get it all out. Happy days. And here we go. Just start off a little bit gently and just break things down, and then you can go nuts. All right. If you don't have the world's biggest mortar and pestle like this one, then you can add this into a food processor, a blender, anything with a sharp spinny bit will hopefully chop this up nicely for you. You could also, if you really wanted to, just run your knife through it and go absolutely ham that way. But I got this big toy. So like I said, just take it easy. Just slowly break things down, and then as it sort of compresses a little bit, and you're not splattering too much turmeric all over your clothes, you can go for it. One thing I am also going to add to this, because I'm looking at it, it's yellow, 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 and I'm going to put some coriander in there too. So I'm going to do that closer to the end though, because I just want to get things started and break things down a little bit. Okay, time to give it some. All right, we're back and it's looking good. Let me spoon out a little bit for you. See how it's sort of quite fibrous and it's broken down quite nicely. That is looking good. But like I said, we need a little bit of green in there. We need some herbage. We got some coriander hiding out in the back here. I'm just gonna go with a good little whack of that. Save some for Ron. Put that over there. I'm gonna run the knife through it. Can go in. Happy days. Oh yeah, that adds just like, already there's like another level of freshness. It smells so good. Go for it. Oh yeah. Let me just scoop the sides a little bit. Digging it a lot. Look at that. Oh yeah, it's actually getting in my eyes a bit. I think it's the onion. Woo! I know. Turmeric on my bench top, freaking out. Here we go. Get it. I guess rubbing it in is probably not a good thing either. That shit gets everywhere. Okay. This is looking really, really good. Very, very happy. Get these back firing. This was getting a little hot, so I turned it down. But that is red hot. How good. Hop, lift that down. Bring this up. I'm just gonna use this little plate as a little bit of a marinating spot for our lamb. Should have brought some gloves, far out. This is hectic. A little bit of oil in there, maybe a little bit more in there just to lubricate things a little bit. And then lamb. How good is it? Look at these little cutlet jobbies. Lamb lollipops. Happiness on a bone. How good. I'm just gonna get them really coated with this marinade. Just press it in. Talk to it. You can obviously do this well ahead of time. I would suggest doing it ahead of time to let those flavours really incorporate. We don't have time today. We've got to get this done. Oh, it smells so good. You could also probably just literally take this, instead of using lamb cutlets and cooking them on the grill, you could probably get some like lamb neck chops. Those beautiful sort of sinewy and bony neck chops, cover them in this marinade, chuck them in a pot, cover it with coconut milk and some stock, cook it for about 6 hours, and you'll be very, very happy, I reckon. That would be a delicious curry. But we're going different, we're going grill, we're going fresh, vibrant. Yellow fingers, let me wash those quickly. Happy days. Washed, clean, the thing's getting nice and hot, the beans are getting ready. I'm gonna set these down just for 2 seconds while we work on our green beans that I mentioned. So we're just gonna use those as well on the grill. If you couldn't be bothered, just leave the tails and tops on, but we'll just take them off today. So line them all up. Try and make it easy as possible. Take one end off and then take the other end off. A lot of the time I couldn't be bothered doing this at home, so it just is what it is. There you go. So woody side, the other side's pretty good. Woody side, line them up, line them up, line them up, line them up. Green beans has to be one of my favourite little veggies. They're super versatile. Again, you could make a green bean curry with this same sort of base of flavours. It'd be absolutely delicious. Pickled green beans, steamed green beans, green bean casserole, very American. Something you'd have at Thanksgiving. Okay, some green beans are done. Actually, I should do some more because we're going heavy on the green beans, aren't we? Love it. Oh. Thank you, thank you. Off we go. Too good. All right, beans are done. The lamb is looking good. Got some tongies here. The grill is nice and hot. That's what we're talking about. That's the sound we want. It's not going to take long, literally a couple of minutes on each side. You want the lamb still sort of blushing on the inside. And just note as well, if some of the lamb are a little thinner than others, then they're obviously going to take less time to cook. That's one. I'm going to get some beans on the end as well to get that party started. Woo! Look at that color. Look at that. So, so good. I need to start my timer. What is it? 3:52. Just make sure there's a good connection between the pan or the bars or the barbecue or the grill and the lamb. But there is a huge amount of heat in there, and that's exactly what we want. As soon as these hit the 2-minute mark, I'm gonna flip them. Then we're gonna serve it up. I've cooked some rice here. We got the lamb. Got a little plate to serve. It's gonna be delicious. We're getting close. Wait till you see the color. We're not far off a turn here, I don't think. 30 seconds. This is exciting. I don't know about you guys, but I always cook with a little timer, especially when I'm doing meat. Even though I very, very rarely stick to what I say, because a lot of it has to do with look and feel and senses and smells and sight and feel. You still want to have a bit of a gauge because you always get distracted. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that color. Nice color. Push it down. Make sure it's connected to the pan. There are a couple of thin little guys in here, so oh, it looks so good. Okay, reset, let's go. How are the beans looking? Again, a little bit of love down the end there. Yum. Too good. Now I think the key with any sort of grilling, any sort of protein, in particular a cut like this that is so delicate, super, super tender, you really want to make sure you rest your lamb. Make sure it just chills out for a second. You obviously still want to eat it while it's hot, but it's nice to be able to let it rest, do its thing, and then dive straight in. And the way we're going to serve this is really simple. A nice bed of those green beans. On top, we're going to throw the lamb cutlets, a little bit of rice on the side, and then it's sort of just, you can dive in with your hands, you can dive in with a knife and fork, whatever sort of tickles your fancy. But I promise you, it is going to be absolutely delicious. Oh, yeah. There's a couple here that look like they're ready to come off. That little guy, quite possibly that one. But again, you're just looking and judging on the thickness of these different pieces to make sure that they're not getting overcooked. Who's next to come off? That little nugget. This one. It's a real smoke show up in here, but it's all smelling absolutely delicious. Get the rest of these beans on, cook them down. I'm gonna have a try and I'll tell you what it tastes like. You know I'm gonna say it's good. Let's dive into it. Look at that. It's so succulent. So juicy, incredibly delicious. Yum. How good is it? That marinade is spot on. You can put that on a whole fish as well. Put it on the barbecue, wrap it in foil. Well, I'll leave you there with that. I'm gonna plate it up. There'll be a great photo online, check it out. The recipe is going to be over on the website. Plus, there's a whole heap more. haydenquinn.com.au. Search in the search bar if you're looking for a recipe. Check it out, leave a comment, let us know what you think. Happy cooking and even happier eating.